mix. World WTV, which is an insane song, and
Yep.
Crusty Demons 12, Waiting, and Warped City. And then Crusty Demons 13, Death and Destruction, Let's Go, and Lies, Lies, Lies. And that was when I sent you songs before
Okay.
you were even. That was the year. That was the one where I sent you stuff.
Hey, Angelina.
Okay.
Angelina, that was way more impressive than how hot you are. How about that?
Oh, thank you, Dana, for the compliment. I appreciate that. I was fishing from John, but I didn't get it. So
No, that was
thank
impressive.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that was impressive.
Namaste.
Namaste indeed.
Namaste.
Oh my God.
John, I
love it.
washed my hair for you, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You look beautiful.
Aww.
Awesome. I'll give you 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Two
Cool.
paws up.
You're the best looking thing the show's seen yet. So there you go.
That's
well,
true.
I'm
He's
hoping to give you the Angelina bump with this.
There you go.
So we can get more viewers tuned in to what you guys are doing. Inform them about, Crusty Demons and
Sure.
wait. No, what did you tell me, Jason? FWO?
Oh, WFO.
WFO.
What it stands
Wide
for.
fucking open.
Yeah.
Exactly. Comes from motocross.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We need
All
to-
action sports. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
So
Are we
Cool.
ready?
So let's go kick this thing off.
Let's
Okay.
do it. Yeah,
Let's do
rock and roll. Let's do it.
5 minutes. Scared. Oh,
Alrighty. Very good. John,
scared.
Dana, one of the two of you, please take it away.
Yeah. So we have a special guest with us today with myself and Dana Nicholson, my partner. We have Angelina, and she was pretty instrumental back in the day of when we were putting high-powered songs together with our footage that we were editing around the world for Crusty Demons. And she was the manager and got awards and things for Ministry. So any Ministry fans out there, here is our special guest, Angelina.
Howdy.
Welcome.
Howdy. Oh man, that intro was a little scary. What am I
gotta
getting
build
myself
you
into? Tunnel of chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well,
Angelina, it looks like we kind of started with you guys back in Crusty Demons 3.
yeah, wow.
And we had a song that you provided us, and I think it was through Sanctuary or something, but it was Thieves.
Yeah, that was actually that's from the Warner catalog. Because I was trying to think, how did this, what was the kind of, how did we get to start doing so much business together? And I think that came through.
I think it just kind of cross-pollinated with other artists that we were working with, and then music was getting sent to us because they liked what we were doing with the craziness of action sports and thrill seekers and all that kind of stuff. And that's probably, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's probably why you guys got attracted to us making Crusty Demons and the power and things that we were doing, going with Ministry's music was like, after we filmed all that stuff and we could go into an editing room and have that kind of power of music,
Yeah,
that's
it's
like
pretty much a match made in hell. No, I think that's like how it started. It was coming through Warner's initially because Please, Just One Fix, those are all Warner Brother records. Before my time.
Okay. We were dealing with them back then.
Yeah, but it still had to be approved by the artist, and at the time I was managing. So I it came across my desk, and then I was like, oh, what is this Crusty Demons X? Like at that time, I was licensed anything with demons, and I was probably gonna prove it just because of our demographic and stuff. And but then I think what happened was when Ministry bopped over to Sanctuary Records.
Yes.
And I was now involved. It was the last record was Houses of the Mole on Sanctuary.
Okay.
And the licensing guy over there, Kenny Ochoa, he.
Oh, that's
Yes.
who I dealt with. Yes.
Yes.
I dealt with Kenny all the time.
Yes, and he called me up and said, the Crusty Demons, and I had recalled that because of the.
He would call me all the time.
Yeah.
I got more.
Oh my gosh.
What Kenny, are you guys working on? Yeah.
He was so incredible to us. Like, he got us so many amazing things. Like, he got us introduced to Tony Hawk, for the downhill jams and stuff like that. And then
cool.
Through Activision, actually got us a commissioned work, like to commission a song for the entire video. It was like amazing. But
we're talking about his games, right?
Yes. But the thing is, I have to tell you guys the story about Houses of the Mole, because we want to keep it like not too much.
Go for it.
Right? Okay. So when Elle and I first got married, I was living in New York and he hated it, and so we moved to LA and we rented this little house in Venice, really cute and stuff. But then like the album for Sanctuary had to be recorded, and he had been recording out at Sonic Ranch in Tornillo, Texas. And that's a whole story in itself. But we decided that rather than spending a fortune on rent in LA, that like at the ranch, it's called Sonic Ranch. It's like now it's like 3,000 acre pecan orchard. And the man that runs it, Tony Rancich, it's like an insane place. If anyone's looking for a great studio, and Tony's a doll. He's got Neve boards and SSLs. I mean, it's crazy what he's got going there. But he had this little house on the property that he was like, yeah, you can rent it for like $500 a month, because, Al would take forever to make a record. Right. So, So I go and I look, it's a little adobe house or whatever. And I go in, it's got like avocado shag carpet. Okay.
Of course. Comes with a 70s house.
Yeah. And then I said, oh, does the AC work? Like I was like, literally, we used to joke, it was like Green Acres, because I was a Manhattan girl, and I'm like, LA was already slower pace. And then like, oh my God, where the heck am I? In the middle of nowhere. It's 55 miles outside of El Paso, in the middle of nowhere. Okay. So it's like, okay, this is where we're going to live. And then he's like, I'm like, does the AC work? He's like, oh yeah, the AC still works. Like no one had lived in the house for 10 years. Okay. And then he turns on the AC and all these bees come flying out. Okay. And then, so we moved in there, and then I'm trying to cook because I like to cook and stuff. So I go to turn the oven on and it's not working. And then I find out that like I have to get the propane tank filled. Okay.
That would help
if
you had a little gas.
I'm coming from Soho, Manhattan. Okay. And then
where you flip a switch and everything works.
Yeah. And then like the bugs and all. Anyway, I fell in love with the place eventually. There was not a soul around for miles. Like the closest place was the Big 8 in Fabens, which was like 10 miles. Okay. And that was my big day out, was going to the grocery store, there wasn't anyone. It was just the workers on the fields. Now I will tell you, so that's where we made Houses of the Mole, but I will tell you.
So you guys could be as loud as you want in this. In this piece of land. That's kind of like what Dana and I had.
Remember the studio?
Glock
we had
9,
a studio
in Malibu
out in the
by
field.
Zuma Beach. Yeah, and we could be as loud as we want.
Yeah, but the thing I will tell you guys, I'm not into conspiracy theories. I know that's surprising to a lot of people, but I'm not into any of that or aliens. But I will tell you right now, in that sky in El Paso, I mean, I saw things like Area 51. Like I saw things in the sky that it's very abnormal, like stuff going like, whoa, oh, 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 like what is that? And this one time it was really spooky, and they'd be in the studio, the band would be in the studio with Al, and then I'd be all by myself. I had the dogs, Ozzy and Lemmy, but the studio was far away. You know what I mean? And like it was a creepy walk from like the house to the studio, and I would hear all these strange noises, and the guys in the band would just tease me and say, "Well, that's chupacabras or jackalopes,"
They live in Mexico, chupacabras.
Yeah, and this one night I'll never forget. There was this light. I mean, it looked like a spaceship. Okay, over the studio. Okay.
We had a studio in Malibu, and we used to have a bit of land, and we would edit our movies all night long, blasting the shit out of you guys' music, like full stick. We had enough land nobody could hear us.
Yeah, we had acres of land, so we weren't bothering anybody.
That's the best
turn up ministry as loud as we wanted.
Well,
and we did.
To tell you the truth, we used to see spaceships and shit there too. But I think it's just because we were editing all night till the sun came up every night.
Yeah, but see, like I don't do drugs in any way. You know what I mean? Like I'm sober as a church mouse, and I have been for over 30 years. And it's like I don't I'd never seen anything like that, and I'm like, okay, this is really strange. Oh, so. Back then, Al and I were so broke. I mean, we were literally living off my Chevron gas card. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And, and like, because of all the drugs and everything, like nobody wanted to touch him in terms of endorsers. Okay. And he had lost his Gibson endorsement, his Marshall endorsement, and he owed the IRS $500,000. I mean, it was bad, right? Whatever. Punk rock, DIY, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I can make a really great meal off of Chevron stuff. So anyway,
top ramen.
I'm so good at that. So Mike Scosha, who is, may he rest in peace, but he was like Al's right hand man, and best friend, and like I called him like Al's musical wife, right? So it's like he had a relationship with this guy named Gooch Marsh, and he was with ESP Guitars, and Gooch was a fan, and he wanted to support us with some guitars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which no one else would touch us. No one would take my call. I'd be looking for endorsements. It was a nightmare because all the bridges had been burned, and so Gooch, he sent us some guitars, which was awesome. And we were supposed to do an ad for ESP Guitars. Okay. And I was going to do the three amigos with, Al, Mikey, and John Monteleone. Okay. Who's amazing. And there were the sombreros, and the mariachi outfits with the guitars, right? Okay. So the night before the shoot, whatever, I'm not sure, but Al and Mikey got in a dust up.
And a dust up.
Yeah.
That's one way to describe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're friends. It's a guy thing. I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's like your you fight with your best friend. I don't know.
Of course. And when we crash our motorcycles into the dirt, we call it a dirt nap.
There you go.
There you have it.
Dirt nap. Well, I don't know what happened.
For those people out there, we have some new words for you.
Dust up. So I guess what happened was, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I just saw the aftermath of it. And like a wine bottle got smashed on the tile table, and it somehow hit Mikey's eye or something. and
you're laughing.
We had a photo shoot the next day.
Okay.
And Mikey's face was like this. Like it was blown up and bloody, and like there was blood everywhere. I mean, it was really, really, really horrible. So I decided that, okay, you guys, it was supposed to be the three like the ZZ Top record.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, okay, everyone's wearing sunglasses on this shoot.
There you go.
But yeah, we were really poor, and really broke, and the band's career was in the toilet. Like no one would. It's not where it is now because I worked really hard to get it where it is now. So
Yeah.
when I took it on, no one would take my call.
Explain to us. We'll play some footage here in a minute, but explain to us. You were telling me that it was hard to get it on radio stations because it was a little too extreme, a little too gnarly.
At that time, yeah.
So you came to people like us and go, hey, they're gnarly. Yeah. So let's mix that with all the gnarly stuff that those guys are doing and what Tony Hawk is doing.
Yeah.
We thought it was awesome.
True? Yeah.
Okay, so here's how it works. Like, when we were on tour and stuff, like I would check out the audience, and I wanted to see, because like I'm kind of a business person, marketing person, and I wanted to see who our demographic was, right?
Yeah.
And and then a lot of the kids would write letters and stuff and talk about how much the music meant to them, and they're going through stuff, and like I sort of realized, like, okay, so I get who our demographic, who our fans are, like they're really like adrenaline junkies, like they really dig the frequency of the Ministry music, right?
Yeah.
And so it was for me, like with the Crusty Demons and the extreme, the action sports and skate punks, and it was like, okay, those are our people, that's our tribe, and so I thought, well, I know who we have, but I want more. And so there was no way that with our budget that we could ever get on the radio. Never.
Yeah.
Even though Ministry had been on the radio with Warner Brothers, but that's a huge company, right?
Yeah.
So I had to get really creative to get the music heard, right? So with Crusty Demons, and by licensing those tracks with you guys, it put us right in front of the perfect audience that would get the music and would.
Yeah.
The frequencies were perfect. The two frequencies came together, and that.
I must say, as a filmmaker, when you sent me those tracks, I immediately knew what we had shot, and I knew, okay, that's going in that segment, because you would get that to me. I'm like, okay, the pace of that segment is going to be. Balls out.
Yeah.
This is just going to be
it's awesome.
Freaking, 100 miles an hour. Editing wise, we did the same. To follow your music, it was like da 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 da.
Well, I mean,
all the shots.
Well, I like
mosh
the
pit.
power.
Our mosh pit, like every show, there's a mosh pit in front of the stage. Still, to this day.
Well, let's take a look at a segment. Why don't we watch a little bit
let's
of
do that.
Okay. Maestro, are you there?
Yes, sir. Maestro here.
Maestro.
There he is.
Maestro is in the house.
Let's go to Crusty 3. 2905.
Wow.
Rock and roll. Let's do it. Here we go.
Rock and roll. Wow.
I think you know this song.
Oh, yeah.
It went to all our wipeouts.
Wow.
We would film these things for close to a year, and then accumulate all that, and then work on our music. And that's what we did with you guys.
That was the Condor right there, dog.
That was the Condor, yeah.
Wow.
All right,
Maestro, turn it up a little bit.
Let it play.
These are all our friends.
Oh, man. Ouch. Wow.
Yeah, we did some wild stuff.
Crazy. Crazy, man. So brave.
Where was that, D? That was in Florida.
Yeah, that was
There's your
Florida.
condor.
Yeah.
Ouch.
We would
Yeah,
trick people to go down and, do a stunt in front of the camera. We'd call it Kodak Courage.
Kodak courage, I like it.
There goes Seth in Brazil.
Oh.
Oh,
As fast as the bike could go. Al came up with a lot of these mixes. There you go.
oh,
Oh my gosh, you don't know how many times I've heard
okay,
that
you can
song.
stop right there. You know who gave me that shot?
Who?
The guy going over the pool.
Oh,
That came from Tony Hawk.
wow.
That was his buddy. We were trading footage back and forth, and then I did some editing for some of his stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, I got a couple of crazy wipeouts," and that was one of them.
Man,
so I got that one from Tony. Yeah.
You know, I think Ministries. I think Ministries is one of the most favorite bands to edit to. All the stuff we've ever edited to, you know, that kind of a pace and that energy is always worked the best.
Well, a couple things. It's like call it the Ministry Wall of Sound. When Al is an amazing producer, okay, and it's like some tracks there would be 200 to 300 tracks, okay, on one song.
Right.
And he would just bounce everything off the board. Like we had an SSL, a 4040, but he would bounce everything off into, like, he would just clear the desk and then fill it up again and clear it and fill it up. And it was just like layers and layers and layers. And it became known as the Ministry Wall of Sound, you know. And the other thing is, like, I'm so happy to hear you guys say that you listen to it really loud, because it needs to be listened to really loud.
Oh, we had it level 10, baby.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. And
we were scaring the coyotes away from the ranch.
Well, that reminds me. Okay, so I want to give a shout out to one of my girlfriends in the industry with whom, like, you know, she was a very, very huge reason why Ministry continued on and didn't just fade away. Besides me, of course. Her name is Missy Colazzo, and she is the president.
Missy Colazzo.
Yeah,
okay.
She's the president of Megaforce Records, which is like Metallica and Anthrax. And so, you know, I was telling you guys about the studio out in Tornillo, Texas, which, by the way, Tornillo is Spanish for screw. Screw Texas. No, I don't mean that. I love Texas. So it's like when we got off of Sanctuary, and, you know, because they were supposed to renew our option, but it was just like pulling teeth, and it wasn't happening. And I had pitched them about, you know, giving Al his own label, which, you know, they kind of like, oh, yeah, nice little girl, you know, don't you worry, little head. And I was like, bless your heart. So the thing with Sanctuary wasn't coming through, and so that's when gave us the impetus to start our own label, 13th Planet Records.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember when you did that.
Yeah. And so the thing about that was, I was really, I mean, even though Tony from Sonic Ranch is amazing and he was so good to us, and I'm so grateful to him, because there was times when the money wasn't coming in to pay for the studio, and he let us slide, you know what I mean? I mean, he was like amazing. And so thank you, Tony, if you're watching this. And actually, you know what? His ranch would be a perfect place to film a Crusty Demons. But anyway, you should talk to him about that. Oh, no, seriously. So anyway.
We'd probably ruin the place.
No, many have tried. It's never going to happen.
We'd build a jump over the studio, that's for sure.
Oh, there's all kinds of places out there, John. You should really go check it out. I mean, you would
Yeah.
love it. I filmed a lot of videos out there in the desert. It's amazing.
Cool.
So we started, so, I just had this concept of getting like our own label together and working with distributors. So we had our
Yeah.
US distributor was Missy Colazzo. And then we had the Orchard. I was the very first indie label to
Oh,
sign up
yeah.
for
We
the
work with the
family.
Orchard a bit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Orchard was 2004. Excuse me.
They were a long time ago. Yeah. Orchard's something new now.
Most
But
people were not getting the digital thing at that time. I got it
yeah.
totally because I had been on our fan boards and our fans were talking. They were stealing, the piracy. And I was like, don't steal our music. They're like, well, if we could pay for it, we would, but we want to download it. So then Jordy Trachtenberg from the Orchard came along and
Okay.
he came out to the ranch and stuff, and he shot guns with Paul Raven from Killing Joke. Paul was playing bass for us, and they're shooting guns off in the desert. But anyway, long story short, what I want to say is, I just didn't like all the money going. We would get advances, but then the money would just all go for studio time because it takes a really long time making music, which is understandable. But I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. So. But by this time, we had moved into El Paso proper, and we rented a place there. And I wanted to buy an SSL because that's the board of choice for Mr. Parkinson. And it was like $65,000 that we didn't have, as you know. And so I went to Missy. By now, she was my U.S. distributor. Jochen Richard was my distributor for the label over in Europe, and he was fantastic as well. He's and he's living in Greece now, but I love you, Jochen. He was amazing. But I said, Missy, it just makes more sense to me if I invest in this equipment and we make our own studio, and then it doesn't matter how long it takes, like I'm not gonna be freaking out on the budget. I won't be blowing the budget. And she loved it and sent me $65,000 the next day.
Oh, cool.
And I went,
Nice.
I got this board. Got it all installed. Our garage at the house we rented, we ripped everything out, ripped off the garage doors, and we converted this garage into a full-blown studio. And out of that garage, guys, four Grammy nominations out of that garage.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
I know Dave Grohl got some awards for his garage band, but we were first.
we witnessed something like that when we went to Tommy Lee's house. He converted his whole garage into a studio.
Yeah.
And he was starting to make Methods of Mayhem when it was his new thing. And he let us build jumps all over his house. And
really?
Yeah, we had a good time with Tommy Lee, but he was playing all the music. And then
gave adrenaline junkie too? Does he do like extreme stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
Some old, dirt bikes.
He rides Harleys and
he rides Harleys. Yeah,
that's right. Girls.
He loves what we do. He's like, dude, I got to know these guys.
Yeah.
So we had a mutual friend, and so that's how we got to know him. And I guess we pissed off Daryl Hannah lived across the street from him with all these horse ranch. And we came over, we built jumps, and we're all loud with our motorcycles. So the cops came, and they're like, what are you doing on Tommy's land? And we're like, well, we swear he's coming back. And the cops were chasing my guys around, and Daryl Hannah's freaking out. And then Tommy's like, all right, everything's cool. I invited these guys. Yep, they're invited to my property. Sorry, Daryl, about that. But yeah, the garage band that we saw at Tommy's was pretty cool. Just like you said, they gutted the whole thing, made it a whole studio.
You don't want to piss Daryl off. Come on, she's so pretty. I bet you she's even pretty when she's angry too.
She kind of, I think she was more freaked out that there's a bunch of hoodlums on Tommy Lee's property.
Oh. Like I would think that would really be like such an anomaly, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. I don't know. But it's funny your story because for Dana and I, when we started Crusty Demons, before that I was making snowboard movies and I was either borrowing time or trading footage with other people in surfing, snowboarding stuff. So I went out. Didn't have a friend that gave me 65,000, but I had a guy said, "Hey, you're doing pretty good in your snowboard sales. How about we give you a loan for 100,000?"
There you go.
So I went out and bought my own studio. All my back then was Betacam SP. I got my soundboards, all the speakers, everything I needed to make films. Yeah. So I didn't have to worry about anybody else anymore.
That was the whole thing. Like I could see like the creative process was, a very long and arduous one with obviously the end result, proof is in the pudding always, right? But I was like, we got to like figure out a way to pay off the IRS and like, we got to like, we can't keep living off my gas card, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's, I had to get creative around that. And I also just, wanted him to just have like complete and utter like creative freedom, and not be under the hammer of like budget. It was our own label. So
we were the same as you, because imagine, Dana, if we were renting a studio for 4 months. Because it would take 4 months to be on our leisure. We'd come in, we'd edit all night, sleep in the morning, get up, edit at night. Usually 3-4 months it would take us for one of these movies.
We were ridiculous.
I usually had to hire like 2 engineers to work with Al. Like I had the day cat and the night cat, because like he would go round the clock.
Yeah.
Like sometimes 30, 35 hours, like just not stopping. And the engineer would get out. So I was like,
I think we're used to that.
Yeah, we would go into lockdown.
We did a few 35-hour missions.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if we had a deadline, it was like we're not stopping.
And it's just like
when
you're in the frequency and you're in like that space, like you lose track. It's like Vegas.
It's a different world.
Time.
You come outside and go, "Oh my God, it's light." Jesus.
But that's what I wanted to talk to you about, John. Like we had mentioned, like how, like, okay, so I'm just kind of going chronologically here, but okay, so
go ahead.
Now we have our own label, right? And we got our own little studio. I mean, that's not such a big deal anymore because everyone has it because of technology. Yeah. But back then, it kind of was a big deal,
It was a big deal back then.
Yeah. So, and also, I'm just still really old school. Like I have my 2006 Boss CD player right next to my computer. Okay. Yeah. And I hate MP3s. Like, I don't know. Digital has its place, but I'm still like really into the analog sound of like an SSL or a Neve or something, I still can tell the difference, But that's me. I'm a bit of a snob, but,
well, you have an ear for it, I guess.
Yeah, that's what they say. Well, me and my dog Lemmy, who's gone now, but he had the best ears in show business, Lemmy.
Lemmy of Motorhead?
No, Lemmy, my dog. We had 2 dogs, Ozzy and Lemmy.
Which Lemmy?
Right?
Okay.
And Lemmy was the studio dog. Ozzy was Mama's boy, and Lemmy was the studio dog.
Ozzy and Lemmy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They have their own Facebook page. So they do. They have 1,600 followers on Facebook. But
nice.
Yeah, they used to do press for Al when he didn't feel like doing it, and just have them do it.
Perfect.
But
hey, I was gonna maybe play something a little bit different than just all that Wipeout stuff.
Yeah.
This is gonna be No W.
Yeah.
Maestro, are you there?
The conductor is in the house.
He fell asleep.
Maestro.
He smoked a joint and fell over.
Uh-oh.
I hope it was probably my voice. I just lulled him to sleep, right? Hopefully that's not happening with your podcast viewers.
Where'd he go?
No. We're good. I'll get him on the phone right here.
Wake up, everyone. Hey, Jason.
Call Jason WFO. Where you at, buddy?
Well,
Jason WFO.
No, he's on a coffee break.
Okay.
Well, he's like, solo by himself, so he has no other person yet. So.
All right. Well, then let me interject with a tiny, quick little story that you guys will love.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So.
Okay.
Are we happy?
He's jumping back in. Go ahead.
Oh, wakey, Jakey.
Yeah.
Join the living. Join the living.
Yes, well, he's in V-Town, so
Yeah.
he's on a rough schedule.
Yeah.
He's been in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where WFO is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about
grew up there.
Midwest boys. Yeah. I love Midwest boys. They're just the best guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They're honest, hardworking, salt of the earth people. I love Midwest people. They're a lot like Canadians. Yeah. No, they are. Like, and I'm Canadian by birth, right? So.
You're Canadian?
Eh?
No, I never spoke like that.
Do you eat ketchup chips?
No. Salt and pepper, I guess. Yeah. I'm not the best shining example.
Hey, Maestro.
Maestro's in the house. Yes.
Is he awake yet?
Yeah, he's back.
Crusty 10.
Crusty 10.
Crusty
All right,
10.
gonna skip to Crusty 10. Okay, we can go to Dan.
2344, my friend.
Oh, hi, Jason.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Of
He
course.
fell asleep for a minute.
Did I lull you to sleep with my
No.
voice? Like, did I lull you to sleep? Is that what happened?
No, I was queuing up the next video.
Oh.
All right. We have Crusty 5 ready to go, but we'll go to 10.
Crusty 10.
Yep.
10.
Crusty 10 it is.
Something different. 2344. Must be right after this.
Yeah, it's coming up right here shortly. Hang on.
And the name of the song is No W.
No W.
As
All
in
right.
W. Bush, George W. Bush.
As in George W. There he is. On the
All
porta
right.
Oh my God.
potty.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Wow.
Yeah, the song will come after the Knuckleheads.
Oh man, that's awesome. Wow. Whoa. Great. No.
These were our friends, the Gaboff brothers, and they called their brand "We Play Crazy."
Oh my God.
So they'd send us all this crazy footage.
Oh.
We'd make their own segment for them. Sounds like a punk rock Orange County song that we're putting to it.
Yeah. It works. Ouch.
Good times.
I'm gonna need a massage after watching all these videos. They're hurting me. Who wasn't No W?
No.
No.
That was just an extra little bit for the fans out there.
Listen, what were you doing? Where were you? I was looking for you. What happened?
I've been here.
Come on, I'm here. Talking about Midwest skies being so solid.
We could definitely talk about
I kind of feel like you've abandoned me.
Never.
Okay.
Got your back always.
Okay, Jason, help me.
Okay, are we at the New Zealand tour? New Zealand West Coast tour. Should be right there.
Oh, just go back to that spot? Okay.
The New Zealand tour. It opens up with No W.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kiwis forever.
Kiwis.
I love the Kiwis. They're crazy.
And people from Perth.
I love them.
So is this Crusty? You want to go back to Crusty 10? Keep going to Crusty 10?
Crusty 10.
Cool. All right. Let's do it.
Should be like 2344 somewhere there.
All right.
Yeah. And it should be our tour.
Excuse me. Allergies.
Let's go, Maestro.
Yep, it's coming up.
Ooh, Dana, that was loud. I liked
Okay.
it. That was cool.
23:44. Let's do it.
Okay.
You remind me of Phildo Owens.
So Angelina, this was a different way to use that song No W.
Yeah.
So this was like all our tour footage that we traveled through New Zealand
Nice.
and Western Australia.
Wow.
And it just, the song just went perfect for us editing it.
Oh my gosh.
And you know where it's going. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
going to start
I sure do.
pumping. Yeah.
That I know.
Yeah.
Turn it up, Maestro.
Here we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Those drum triggers.
That was Perth, Australia right there.
Oh,
Going nuts.
that's Mikey. Spreader. Whoa!
You can see how our music or your music goes to what we're doing.
Yep.
These were like insane times. We still have them. You can imagine the people that we meet traveling, other parts of the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like being on the road, man. You get to meet the most
Oh
wonderful
yeah.
people.
Well, and we take our boys on the road, and we all stay with each other. So
yeah.
We don't just show up at a hotel; we take a hotel.
Yeah, that happens. I have a lot of stories like that too. Oops.
And usually we don't get invited back.
Yeah, I've had
because all the furniture's in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like probably what you guys witnessed on tour.
Oh yeah.
Is how we would roll to these kind of events.
I always had this like theory that like the president of the United States should get into a tour bus and go on tour and meet the people and see what's really happening in the country.
Yeah.
Because
some politicians do that. They just get in a bus and go.
I mean, when you're president, you need to go and get on the road and do a 50 city tour and go and see not what the news is showing, but what.
He's probably going to do that now because he wants to get reelected.
Well, it would be good.
Yeah.
Because I learned a lot about America, touring.
So, on this song in particular,
Where's Mikey?
Talking about a president.
Yeah.
This is called No W.
Yeah.
No W. Bush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually that's the remix that was done specifically for you guys of this track. It was called "Maim That Tune."
You can stop there, Maestro. Okay.
It was called No W, Maim That Tune.
Okay.
So that was
like shut up, Mr. President.
Yeah, but it's also like playing into like the fact that like you guys, wow. It's a lot of bones and muscles getting tormented, takes a lot of courage.
Okay.
I mean, it's not.
Are you ready for that?
What am I ready for? I was born ready. What?
You're born ready?
I
Maestro.
was. Yes.
Maestro.
Yes, sir.
Go to Chaotic Chronicles.
Chaotic.
Go to 0000. Kick it off.
Ground Zero.
World and WTV, I think. Maybe
man, I love that song, World. It's so good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, wait till you see what we did with it.
Yeah. Okay, because
Kick this one up, Maestro.
All right.
Song.
Ready to rock and roll in 3, 2, and 1.
Go.
It's playing.
Danger.
Yeah, no kidding.
Watch out. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna try some of these stunts after we finish.
Go for it. Send us the footage.
Okay, I will.
Mayonnaise and peanut butter sandwich. Don't touch that dial.
I think I added some stuff on top of your lyrics.
This is yeah.
You can kick it up a little bit.
Other.
Yeah, turn it up, Maestro.
Louder. Maestro. Kick the sound.
The volume's up all the way.
There you go.
No, nice. That's a good edit.
By our actions, we have shown what kind of nation we are. We've shown the noble aims and good heart of America. Listen to your mom and dad.
Look at the boy.
Nice.
All these people gather around you like you God almighty.
Look at the helmet.
Ooh.
This was my editing dream when you gave me this song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here's me and Dana.
Top Dana.
Whoa, nice. Wow.
That's good, Maestro.
Perfect.
Oh, you know what? I noticed in that.
Oh, wait a minute. It's going to play.
Oh.
If you keep going, Maestro, from that point.
All right.
Tell me, Angelina, is this more ministry?
I love this song.
Huh?
I love this song.
Is this WTV?
This is World. WTV was the other one.
Oh, okay. So this is World, and we did like a whole thing of funny things over our 10-year period. Went perfect with our visuals from around the world.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, and there's my rent
Oh
car
my God.
Yeah.
in Maui. That's good.
Oh Lord. I failed phlebotomy school. I tried, but it didn't work out. Hey, you know what I noticed in that, John?
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I see that like you and Al have kind of something in common, which is like a really great sense of humor that you inject into your editing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's not all blood and guts, even though we're called
no, there's this
Flesh Wound
sense,
Films, but
yeah,
we have humor
yes,
throughout, and we have amazing stunts that go right, and we
yeah,
have ones that go wrong,
yeah,
and then we balance it with humor.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
a lot.
I just noticed that, like, yeah, once again, there's
Yeah,
great
because if I was
moments.
going to go like that for a whole movie, like what you just saw,
Yeah,
you'd be like, geez, how long am I gonna? Let's look at that, 100 miles an hour. You got to break it.
yeah.
Well, you
It's
got
kind of
zig and zag.
Throw funny skits in there. Some
it's kind of like a
comical
Charlie
things.
Chaplin thing, you know, like he can make you
Yeah,
really, really, really sad, but then boom, in a
yeah,
second he'll turn it around and
yeah,
make you laugh. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
That's really
And then you can see with, Ministry's music how fast it's going. So I'm just putting those shots like one after the other, after the other, after the other, and keeping up with the pace of that music.
Do you know, it was always just amazing to watch Mike Scascia, Ministry's guitarist, because, I mean, that song live is really hard, okay? For the drummer and for the guitarist.
The one that we just saw.
The WTV.
WTV, yeah.
Yeah.
That one's insane.
And I swear to God, Mikey, I don't know, he nailed it every night. He was just, I wish that he would get some accolades for being the kind of, like, he was one of the top metal guitarists in the world. You know what I mean? I wish that one day.
Is he still around?
No, he's passed on. He passed away. He died on stage in Dallas.
Wow.
December. Yeah. Well, it's debatable because of the time frame, because Texas is a really big place. But like, it was either December 22nd or 23rd, because it was around midnight. So, but it was after midnight. It was after midnight when I got the call.
This last year?
This was in 2012.
Oh, okay. So
he was 46 years old.
Yeah, that's too young.
And we also lost our bass player, Paul Raven, in 2007. We lost him as well. And then, of course, Joey Jordison from Slipknot, he was our drummer on our 2006 tour. What a great drummer. Yeah. Oh, my God. I used to love to watch Joey. I mean, he was incredible. He was just a tiny little thing, right? But, wow. His double kicks and stuff, just amazing. But yeah, it's rock and roll. I mean, like you guys too, I'm sure you've lost a lot of people as well. Because it's the nature of the.
We do, and we never know when that's coming. It's all of a sudden usually on pain pills and stuff.
Yeah, well, and then
they get injuries, and then they get hooked on stuff, and unfortunately, some are they do a bad setup or something on their bikes, and they come up short. And, they get worked that way, but fortunately, we have never had that filming or anything. We've had injuries, and we go to the hospital, but we've always had the most safe setups that we can do nowadays. Back in the day, probably not so much.
Not so much.
We were just kids playing around. Like, hey, dude, I dare you to go off that. It was like calling out your buddies. Hey, I got a camera.
Right.
I was such a tomboy when I was young. You know what I mean? And but thank God, for some reason. But I was 1977, punk rock, and I got right into that immediately. I was only 15 years old, but I identified with it immediately. You know what I mean? And I probably would have headed down the path of being, I was self-destructive, in terms of, drinking and drugging and stuff for a little minute. But I don't know exactly what happened, but I just straightened myself out. I just managed, because I was like, die young, stay pretty. Yeah.
Punk rock.
Yeah. Young, stay pretty. And so that didn't
Dana,
happen.
you were a punker.
Oh yeah, we went through the same
punk rock, skateboarding,
same era.
Same thing.
Yeah. Good old days, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you the story about how we got after we developed this relationship together with the licensing for Crusty Demons, right? That I would send you tracks that hadn't even been put out yet.
Yeah. A couple of these you sent me before.
Yeah.
People didn't even know what they were.
Death and Destruction. Let's Go is such a great track. I don't know, Jason, if you can find that one. It was on Crusty Demons 13. But and Lies, okay? Now the thing is,
Lies. Yeah. I love that one.
That one got nominated for a Grammy Best Metal Performance.
I'm not sure. I only got down to Crusty 12. So that must be in 13 or something.
It's in 13. Yeah, it's in 13. And that was off of Rio Grande Blood. And then also Death and Destruction was off The Last Sucker, which was basically the last record that Paul Raven played on before he passed away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but so fast forward, we moved out of the house. We went on this crazy tour. Oh, I want to. Okay, wait. I'm going to interject just because you guys brought it up. Anyway, you were saying. Okay, so we were in Nuremberg, Germany.
Yeah.
On tour.
Uh-huh.
In 2003.
Okay.
And the guys went out drinking. Okay, we were doing a festival, not getting paid very much money, trust me. But they went out drinking that night, and they came back and they took it upon themselves to take all of the fire extinguishers.
Yep.
And just completely douse the whole entire hotel.
I think we can relate to that.
Yeah, except
we did the same thing.
I got that email once.
The only problem with that was this was 2003 and we were still broke, okay?
Yeah.
And I didn't have money to pay off the German police or pay the fine, or we had barely enough money to pay for the hotel rooms that night.
Yeah. And now it's destroyed.
And the hotel manager, and fortunately I know a little bit of German, right? So I went to the hotel manager and I apologized profusely and all that sort of stuff. And then sometimes I feel like I'm like sweet old lady up front and the numbers game is in the back, you know what I mean? But anyway, so I told him, I said, listen, I will clean your hotel. I can't afford the fine and I can't afford to have someone else.
That's one way to do it.
I'm like, we will clean your hotel.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry, because the police were there and everything, but they're going to take us to German jail. I didn't want to go to jail in Nuremberg. Anyway, so I got the one bad boy, Louis, I put him in his room and told him, bad bear, you stay in your room. You're a very bad bear. Okay. And just don't even come out. I don't want to see your face until the morning. And then I woke up everyone else, band and crew, and I said, get up. We're cleaning this hotel. Which we did. Okay. These are metal dudes. Okay.
You got the whole band to work on the hotel?
Yeah. I found out our sound guy had his janitorial, certificate. Like he was really good. He cleaned up so great. And so I got the whole hotel cleaned up, and then the hotel manager was so impressed to see these Americans cleaning, He's like, I've never seen anything like this. I will not press any charges and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so the next morning when we were getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
Like Al and I had nothing to do with that. We were in the hotel room. You know that painter dude, the dude that makes the paintings? What's his name? Do you know who I'm talking about? He has a little show and he makes paintings. And we were watching that. Anyway, whatever.
The guy with the fro?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah, we were watching him, just hanging out. And then all of a sudden we hear all this screaming. Anyway, anyway, everyone got, on the bus and we went to the next festival that we didn't get paid any money at. And I told the two culprits, Mikey was one of them too. I said, okay, so I've added up everyone's time, how long this took to clean up your mess. And I'm paying them $15 an hour, each person, for as long as it took. And I'm taking it out of your per diem.
Yeah. It's about right.
Yeah.
We had problems, but our promoter was left with those problems as we moved from one hotel that was destroyed onto another one, and he had to pay those bills. Yeah. And then he started setting it up differently.
Oh yeah.
He started taking out the
athletes like you can't have on my credit card.
Right.
Nothing.
No. Yeah.
Any damages, everything. He learned. He's like, you take out of the mini bar, you pay for it.
Well, that
you have per diems of food, this and that, but I'm not paying for destruction of hotels.
Well, see, I think
he finally figured it out.
I think it was kind of cool, like on my part to do that. Like I didn't think that they would listen to me, but they did. I don't know. I think it's something about I have steely blue eyes, the icy blues. That's what they used to call them. The
Icy
icy
blue.
when you get the icy blues, and I put my hands on my hip. You know what I mean? Like these are big metal dudes, okay? And I'm like, what is going on? You know. So, but the thing is, I feel that because I set a precedent with that, right?
Yeah.
So moving forward, like they knew that if they messed things up in the hotel room, they were going to pay for it. I
They're going to
wasn't
deal with Angelina.
Yeah, and they're going to pay for it. It's going to come out of their whatever, their paycheck or their
Yeah.
something like that, you know. But you know, these are the trials and tribulations of being boss lady on the road when you're on the road. The only woman on a tour bus, a double-decker tour bus in Europe, filled with very high energy alpha males. Okay.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Ministry, of course.
Yeah. But I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I loved them. I loved the guys. You know,
Yeah.
I really did. My
Well,
crew guys, the band. We had a lot of fun. You know, you really get to know someone when you tour with someone.
of
You really
course.
get to know who they are.
Yeah.
As a
Right? Absolutely.
yeah.
we sure did. In all our travels, man, we've traveled as like a team or a entity, you know, like what you guys did, whether it was on buses or vans or airplanes or whatever. But like when we would come in, like you're saying, you know, the guys would go crazy in the hotels, and it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 just
I always,
calm down.
I always found it pretty funny. It doesn't take long to figure out the key people on tour that, as like an owner, you need under your belt. You know, bus drivers, different people that kind of actually kind of need to get in with to make shit really work behind the scenes. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
talking about.
Yes. Yes. So
Yeah.
I was really fortunate because in the I did a lot of let's see, 5 world tours
Mm-hmm.
in like 8 years. Um, I was so fortunate because I just had the best crew, you
Yeah.
know, like
Cool.
most of the guys stayed with me,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, forever. Like,
Yeah.
and I remember because like when I first was, okay, so here you go. Here's a little woman in the music industry story.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's his wife. Oh, she's his manager. Oh, yeah, she's his manager. Like I don't know anything or something. They didn't know
Uh-huh.
anything. And so, like, I
Yeah.
had to prove a lot. I had a lot to prove, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Yeah.
And you have to earn people's respect. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, like with the sea the crusty sea dogs, I used to call them that. The crusty,
Crusty sea dogs.
yeah. They're called technicians now, but back then they were called roadies, which they prefer technician now, and I get that.
Sure.
I totally get that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to use that term.
I'm a technician.
Yeah, it's their drum technician or
Yeah.
sound technician or monitor technician or front of
Yeah. It
house
sounds
technician.
better than a roadie.
Yeah, but a couple
Yeah.
of the guys, they were salty sea dogs, crusty salty sea dogs, and a lot of them, like I've never had a female boss before.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, and they were like,
Yeah.
how's this gonna go? Anyway, by the end of it,
This woman Angelina is going to be bossing me around.
by the end of it, after everything's said and done, like lots of the salty, crusty sea dog boys that I love
Yeah.
said, I actually prefer having a woman as a boss.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's now like there's a festival over in Budapest. It's called the Zyget Festival, and
Yeah.
it's been nominated in like the top festival like forever. I mean,
Yeah.
the top festival in Europe like forever, and it is run top to bottom by women.
Okay.
And it was really interesting for me the first time I went to that festival
Yeah.
to just see all the women, because I've been in this industry a long time. I'm 60 years old. It's like I started when I was 18. I've been in the industry the whole of my career. And it was like the most you could ever hope for. I was like a roadie at 18. That was like my
Yeah.
first date was like loading out gear. But, the most you could ever really hope for was to, be the vice president of marketing if you were lucky. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There
Yeah.
was a glass ceiling, that Sharon Osbourne kicked down.
Okay, I was just gonna mention that name.
Yeah.
That's a toughie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I dealt with Sharon a few times.
Yeah.
Right.
She owed us a couple of favors, and then she called one time. She goes, "Why do I owe you a favor?" I'm like, "Because I did your Ozfest, and I made a whole thing for your mobile theater." And she goes, "Oh, that's right. That was you guys. Okay, you can use that Over the Mountain song. All right." But she was a toughie.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. I love Sharon, and she broke the glass ceiling for women like myself and some other women of my
She
generation.
definitely did. Yeah.
And I have nothing but amazing things to. I admire her so much. Yeah, you have to be tough when you're like that saying. It's like if
Oh,
you're a woman,
she's tough. So
if
you're
you're a
like
woman,
her.
you have to work twice as hard as a man. Fortunately, it's not that
Yeah.
difficult. But no, back then, especially when she was doing it in the 70s, I mean, it
Yeah.
was like the music it's changed a lot now, but like the music industry back then was so chauvinistic. It was blatant like chauvinism and misogyny, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that has changed a lot over the years because more women are getting involved in, production and behind the scenes and management and that sort of thing.
Sure.
But even myself, like,
We know a lot of great women.
you have to like sadly
Yeah.
like I had to kind of be okay. I don't like to swear, but um I had to be a bitch for about 5 years.
Oh my God, you said bitch.
Yeah. I kid you not. I kind of had to do that. It's not my default. I'm actually a really nice, kind, caring, soft person. But I also have an acting background, so I just was like create a persona like Angie fucking Jorgensen. That was my persona that I created. Like, don't fuck with her or she'll sue you, you
Well,
know?
you were pretty badass, uh, finding guys like me and Dana, and what we were doing, was crazy shit. And you guys were doing crazy music.
Yeah, but
So
John, you
that
guys
was cool that, you
were so
found us.
respectful though. Like you were so
Yeah.
easy to work with and you were
Yeah.
so respectful and like you got it. Like we were on the same page from like the very first conversation.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you had a mission, you had something you wanted to accomplish. I had something I wanted to accomplish, which was getting our music
Yeah.
out to the kids.
Yeah.
And finding I had to like work outside the box in order to do that. I had to color outside the lines, and you
Yeah.
guys are such a warm, friendly, like companion, like I just felt like we were like of the same tribe, you know?
You know, we
Yeah.
just we
Absolutely.
just played that opening with what was it called? WTV that you love.
Yeah.
That one that is just crazy. We played
Crazy
that
song.
to open one of our shows last November. We went to Dubai, and it was full of sheiks and their kids and the little robes and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, this is going to come up on the big screen, and it's going to play your song with that crazy stuff, and then lights are gonna go on, and the dancers are gonna come out, and the riders all come out. But we started with that, and I was looking around, and the sheiks start dancing.
No.
They were dancing in the front
Really?
row. Yeah.
Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Well,
To WTV.
in the
Yeah.
video for No W, no, like Al's dressed up like a sheik, right? I don't know if you've ever seen
Okay.
like the music video
Yeah.
for that. But you know what I was just thinking while we're talking? Like if you guys should reach out to ministries management and see if like you guys can't do something together in a live setting.
Sure. Why not?
Why not? I mean, it'd be awesome.
We might come over here and do a live electronic show.
Yeah.
So, almost looking like a rave kind of coloring and this and that. And
Like
there
my
can
background.
yeah, like your background. But
Yeah.
we can tell a story on either the roof or you can do floor mapping and all that. And kids can come in, drone race or whatever, but the parents can come in. But it'd be fun to have ministry because that
You should
music
seriously
fits
think
with
about doing something
something like that.
together. You
Yeah,
know, like maybe like an anniversary special of like the first time y'all started working together. You know what I
sure.
mean? And
Yeah,
I think the kids would just go crazy. You know,
probably.
because that like Ministry Live. I don't know if any of y'all have seen Ministry Live, but it is like intense.
I'll
You know,
look it up.
like I mean, you need to be
Yeah.
right there. I can put you in touch.
Oh, to be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have never seen him live.
You've never seen them
Yeah.
live? Oh no, it's
No.
like it's like a whole thing. It's a
Yeah.
whole thing. But I'll
Yeah.
I'll put you in touch with his manager. Maybe you guys can work something
Sure. Yeah. One cool place we did one of our big shows was here in Los Angeles. We did the Forum.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
Oh,
cool place. I could
so what
see
did you
something
guys
like that.
what did you guys do at the forum? Like was there stands?
We put on a Crusty Demon show like what
It's a
you
live
saw.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a live
Can you
show.
imagine like having
All the guys
ministry
jumping
playing
the
while the
dirt
guys are
bikes.
doing their thing?
Yeah.
That'd be
And you
so
could put the
awesome.
band, in a certain
Yeah.
area, and the guys
Yeah.
are all doing their crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like put them up way up high on scaffolds or something like that.
Yeah, we've done that before. Yeah.
But then you can also like film it and then put out like,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Yeah, you never know. But
Oh no, it'd
yeah,
be great.
I'll keep in touch with you on that. We're
I
always
don't know.
progressing and always doing something new.
I'm
Yeah.
so full of ideas.
We just ooze ideas every day. Me and Dana, we talk
It's so
for
hot here.
hours.
I'm just sweating ideas. Okay.
We are. We are.
I don't know. Is there time for one more story or what? How are we doing?
Yeah, we're getting pretty long, but
Pretty long. I think we could probably maybe cut it here if you want to come
Okay.
back and visit us another time.
If your fans want
We
me
have
to,
more.
sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm open to like, Q&A from your fans or whatever too. So if they want to.
Maestro, how does that work?
Yes, we can definitely do that. We have to have a dial-in number, and we can field some questions. We can make that happen. That's not a problem.
If they
Okay,
want to, I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Why don't you reach out to people?
awesome.
I like talking to people.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on our podcast.
Yes. Thank you, Angelina.
Oh, you guys, this was so much fun. I'm sorry I'm such a chatty Cathy. You didn't know that was going to happen, did you?
Oh, it's all good.
Thought I
All
was
good.
just a little wallflower.
You told good stories and
I
we
license music.
compared notes and sounds like we've lived kind of a similar lifestyle.
It's really cool. This has been very, very
Yeah.
educational for me, and also like just seeing some of the footage and like I'm
Yeah.
gonna pray for all the kids that have like been in those videos. I'm gonna pray for them tonight.
They're all good.
They're all still, pretty much all of them are still alive. We've never had
Yeah,
a problem
Yeah,
in our movies.
just a flesh wound.
Yeah,
flesh wound.
wound,
Just
I
a
love
flesh wound.
just a flesh wound.
That's our
Yeah.
motto. Just
That
a
was
flesh
my
wound.
marriage. It was just a flesh wound. I
There
had to
you
get the
go.
last one in. I've been good the whole time. Come on, give me a break.
Awesome.
All right, y'all. Well, namaste.
Namaste.
And you guys
Thank you
have
very
a great
much.
day, eh?
Gracias.
All right. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
coming on.
It was my pleasure. I really had a great time. You guys are super.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Angelina. We'll be talking soon.
All right.
Adios, amigos.
Thank you, everybody.
Adios, amiga.
All right. Peace.
John.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. John, take the floor and tell everyone what's happening for next week, and then also subscribe and follow and all the good stuff. Take it away.
Hit the little subscribe button.
So hey, everybody. That was a good podcast today with Angelina, and we're going to bring you another special guest next week. It's going to be somebody that you don't think is coming, but I will say it's going to be good. So tune in.
There we go.
And we're going to do that next week on Tuesday. And if you can, subscribe to our channel. So, Vault of Chaos, Crusty Demons. And we'll send you all kinds of stuff from us. Be part of our family.
Awesome. Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Angelina. Until next week, all the very best, one and all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
How do I get out of this? I'm in the vault of chaos. Help! How do I log out? What do I do? How do
I
I get
love
out
it.
of here?